Proceed, Your Honor.
Amen.
There was a fox who lived in the forest, a stealthy fox, and he knew the forest well. He knew that an old woman was living in the forest as well. He saw her leave her house and walk down the dirt road into town. She walked into the store, picked up her goods, and left. She went back home, down the dirt road, and walked into her home. She put the goods in her cupboards. Now the fox saw this old woman do this. She saw that she was old, saw that she was alone, and he decided he was going to rob her that night. And he thought he wasn't going to get caught. That night, a perfect storm hit the forest. Lightning lit up the sky. Thunder sounded for miles, and the rain turned the dirt road into mud. The next morning, when the old woman woke up, she went to her cupboards. She saw that everything was gone, missing. The food that she bought before. But she knew who did it. She didn't see who did it. She didn't see who took the food from her cupboards. She didn't see who broke into her house. But she saw the muddy paw prints on her floor. Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen the fox. He's standing right there. The defendant's fingerprint was found on a Hershey bar, found inside Miss Stevens' home on July 1st, 2006. The defendant's fingerprint was also found on a pawn card. And the defendant pawned the same unique gold rope necklace that belonged to Miss Stevens. This is not a coincidence. The only explanation for that man's fingerprint on the pawn card and that man's fingerprint in the house of Miss Stevens is because he was there. He broke into her house. He opened the sliding glass door. He assaulted her. She was in fear for her life. And the defendant contends that he wasn't there, that he must have touched the Hershey bars before. He must have touched it the last day that he was working at Albertsons, the same place where Miss Stevens picked up her groceries. Not days before, but 8 days before. And the defendant is a supervisor. He supervises the stockroom. But his primary job is not to stock the shelves. His primary job is to supervise the employees. There is no way that this man's fingerprint was left on that box of chocolates, that specific box, placed on the shelf, and picked up by Miss Stevens 8 days later. The scientific evidence shows you that he was in that apartment. You heard from Dale McIntyre, Officer Dale McIntyre. He testified to you about Ace Hodges. Who is Ace Hodges? Why isn't he in this room? Why isn't he sitting in that chair right now? Because he didn't do it. The defense is trying to pawn off Ace Hodges as the person who committed this burglary, who committed this robbery. Ace doesn't have a criminal record, and Officer McIntyre did an extensive search to try and find Ace. He looked in the databases, he asked for help from the state police, and they couldn't find him. The only evidence that Ace Hodges was here was from Joy Walford's stipulation. Now, Joy Walford, the grandniece of Miss Stevens, says that Ace Hodges never came over to Miss Stevens' place. Never. They spend time together, but they spend it at their own place because they didn't want to be bothered. Ace is nowhere to be found, and the only physical evidence here to show the person who broke into Miss Stevens' house is that of the defendant's. Now, you heard the defendant has been convicted before. He's been through this system. He's taken the stand. He's testified. And you saw him. He didn't know how to answer questions. He kept trying to dodge the bullet because he's been here before. He's a person who doesn't know how to follow the rules. That man lost his job on June 23rd. The burglary took place on July 1st. You heard the defendant testify that he won the necklace playing a game of pool on July 6th, a Thursday at Fullow Pub. And you heard that he gave it to his girlfriend that following Monday. But his girlfriend stated that she received the necklace before the 4th of July. She wore it to a July 4th party. So Tony didn't give her the necklace on July 5th. He won the necklace on July 6th, but he didn't give it to her until that following Monday, which is July 10th. But she had that necklace before July 4th. Tony's lied before, and he'll lie again. He's stolen before. He stole from the same complex that Miss Stevens is currently living in. He's familiar with the area, familiar with the grounds, and he's done it before. There are too many inconsistencies in all the stories here today. The only physical, direct evidence is the fingerprint found on the chocolate bar, the fingerprint found on the pawn ticket, and the unique gold rope necklace that was stolen from Miss Stevens. Tony tried to steal to help the kids, to help Selena Hardaway's kids, the kids who were sick, the kids who needed medicine. Because she's a good mother. Tony let her and her kids stay with him. She spent time there. He got to know the kids. Even though he lost his job, money was tight, but he would do whatever he had to do to make sure that those kids got the medicine they needed. Got the medicine to be healthy, got the medicine to get better. And he would do anything to be able to make sure she got the medicine. He'd do something like steal from Miss Stevens. He opened up the glass sliding door. He walked in, threatened her with a weapon. She was afraid for her life. Stole the jewelry, stole the silverware, and left. He'll do whatever he has to be able to get the medicine for Selena Hardaway. Now, you also heard the defendant's girlfriend testify. She said that there is no way the defendant left her side on July 1st, the day of the burglary. You also heard her say she takes sleeping medication. Her testimony was confusing as to why she took the sleeping medication. There is no way that we can believe the testimony she gave here today. Ladies and gentlemen, the only evidence here in this case is the physical evidence, the scientifically proven evidence that that man was in Miss Stevens' apartment, that that man pawned a necklace, and that that man pawned a necklace that was stolen from Miss Stevens.
Thank you, counsel.